Hello, all you uni oakers. Thank you for joining us for another Friday video of something that is unique in Oklahoma. I am at Fort Gibson Historic Site, and this is the site of the old fort in the modern town of Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. And I'll just do a panorama there. Unfortunately, I got here after closing time, so I can't go in, but I thought I'd show you the exteriors. There's a historical plaque down here that we'll walk to, and I'll see if I can multitask and talk as I walk. But this is the first military fort that was built in Indian Territory in 1824, and it was started about a month before Fort Towson in April of 1824. It was the furthest west fort of the United States on the western frontier, and also to defend the Louisiana Purchase territory. And there you can see the information about it. I'll get good and close. Built by Colonel Matthew Arbuckle. There's a name that is well known in Oklahoma, Arbuckle, in the 7th United States Infantry. This was rebuilt by the WPA in 35 and 36, the exact duplicate of the original. There's another plaque down here. So the first military fort that was built in Indian Territory, and it lasted until about 1888, I believe. And it was successful in keeping peace in the Indian Territory. Here's another plaque that was put up in 1963. Here's another first for you, another unique thing about Oklahoma. The first commercial long-distance telephone line was placed in service at this point in 1886. And it connected Fort Gibson with Tahlequah and Muskogee. And I will just give you a few seconds there to see that so you can read that. Now, on up around the curve there, it turns back, and right where my finger is, you probably can't see it, but there are some tall stone structures there that have to do with the Dragoons Battalion that included Jefferson Davis. And there's about 3 plaques up there. There's also the original water well up there that was dug. Jefferson Davis was a part of that. Some of the soldiers that served here included Jefferson Davis, who was, of course, president of the Confederacy, Robert E. Lee, the great general, and I mean great in very distinguished, Zachary Taylor, and Daniel Boone's son, Nathan Boone, all were stationed here at one time. Now, the main reason that I wanted to come here and do this video is still inside. I'm going to see if I can get part of my face in here. There's a monument to a man, I believe it's inside the fort because I couldn't find it anywhere outside of it, named Montfort Stokes. Montfort Stokes was the 25th governor of North Carolina. Now, I just wanted to get you to think there, well, why is that a big deal about this guy who was the 25th governor of North Carolina, and he's buried around here. I think his grave is actually in the National Cemetery, but there's a big plaque to him here. Well, Montfort Stokes was a friend of Andrew Jackson, and Jackson appointed him to be the leader of the Indian Commission that oversaw the removal of the Southeast Indians to Oklahoma. And so he resigned as governor in 1832. He moved to Indian Territory, and he lived here in Fort Gibson, or the area that time was Fort Gibson Fort. And then he died here in 1842 and was buried here. But what's unique about him, and that's what is going to make this the main aspect of unique Oklahoma, was Montfort Stokes was born in Virginia. He fought in the Revolutionary War. Revolutionary War. We're talking about the war with Britain for independence. And he was born in, I believe, 1762. And as I told you, he died in 1842. Now, there were, I believe, either 221,000 or 231,000 men, Americans, who served in the Revolutionary War total. It is believed that Montfort Stokes is the only Revolutionary War soldier to be buried in Oklahoma. The only one that we know of. And he's also pretty rare because we're not going to see a lot of people buried in our state who were born in the 1700s. So one day I'll come back and I'll do a mini vid at his memorial. But anyway, and I apologize if how I looked was kind of weird. Oh, here comes the train. Hopefully I didn't have a up close shot of my nostrils. But anyway, hey, thanks for joining me once again. Have a great Friday evening and a great weekend. And we will talk with you next week. Bye-bye.